Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakakwadash, Ma'ama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan, my Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Awafim and children. I believe in truth and in sincerity. It's your brother Athan Yahweh back to another lesson. And Yahweh Ratzazah is edifying. I just want to go and do a quick lesson. I want to start off in the book of Mark, chapter 13, and verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which Yahweh created unto this time, neither shall be. Right, and these days is talking about is pretty much here in Mark chapter 13. It's pretty much going into the days that we're approaching, the days that we're in. All right, which pretty much this whole chapter here in Mark 13, it starts off pretty much going into the days that we're coming into, the future. And then later on in the chapter, goes back to when Yahweh Shai was on the scene. All right. As you can see in the bowl, it says the return of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right, but just going up into the latter, the first beginning stages of the chapter, and went to what? The things to come. So here in verse 20 is the point. And except that the Lord shall shorten those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, he have shortened the days, man. And that's why things are speeding up. You know, last year was deemed the year of turn up, all right, by the apostle Tahar. All right, this year being what the year, hoping of all prophecy being fulfilled. All right, because we see the prophecies in which is very few left, but we see them rapidly taking their course. All right, moving towards fulfillment. From here, I want to get the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3, because the Lord foretold us and warned us about these things. All right, and this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. And I'll start at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, right? And it's the prophet Habakkuk, ultimately representing the true watchman, all right, standing upon his watch, all right, and how he's set upon the tower to watch. He has a duty, and he's to give an answer when he's reproved. And hey, that's ultimately we have to continue these good works. We have to continue to measure the times diligently in itself, according to Second Ezra chapter 9, as the scriptures say. All right, as we're been set up as the watchtower for the people. Ultimately, so they can run we can make the vision plain upon tables, right? The parables, the prophetic breakdowns. All right, we can make it clear to the rest of the sheep. All right, as the Lord's sheep hear his voice, they're going to cling on. They're going to be able to adhere and comprehend the parables and the vision that we're making plain upon tables, so to speak. That they'll run that readeth it as well, and then run the race. With the fulfillment of what Revelation 7, the elect being fulfilled. The elect being sealed, so all hell can break loose. Get that? That's been mentioned a lot lately. And it's Revelation 7, an interlude in 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree, right? Nor on the sea of people. All right, the wind representing what? Destruction. All right, the 4 winds of the earth representing the 4 hemispheres, north, south, east, and west. All right, the Lord go, when all hell break loose, the Lord's go bring that destruction, man. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads, right? So you want to be sealed, ultimately. And then later on in that chapter, it goes into what? The 144,000, 12,000 men from each tribe. All right. The 12 tribes of Israel, that is, that consists of you so called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those of the speckled bird. All right. So the angels are holding that judgment back until the elect is sealed, until you hear this word to those who hear the word and hear the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord after it's been made plain upon tables that they can run and read it, right? Study to show thyself approved, according to Revelations 1 and 3, I believe. All right. The angels is holding that wind back until that profitable fruit is come into the Lord's, the Lord's barn. Those sheep has entered into the Lord's barn, so to speak, which is going to lead up to what? Ezekiel 9 and 4. Those who don't have that name written in their foreheads, that mark of exemption, that the Wah, they're going to be destroyed. And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4, to get to the point. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? That's why it's imperative and important for us not to be weary and well doing, all right, to keep doing the work, man. The work of what? Husbandry, all right? Tilling the soil is already tilled. We just continuously planting seeds, dropping a little water as we go on seeds that's already been planted, so on and so forth. But hey, once that elect is sealed, the Lord is going to instruct the angels, all right, here in Ezekiel 9 and 4, to go through the midst of the city and wreak havoc, man. And this is Ezekiel 9 and 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark, right? That mark, the mark of what? Exemption, the Wah, upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And we go into that term mark. That mark in Ezekiel goes into the Wah, all right? A different mark from what's in Revelation, all right? Mark, a sign of exemption from judgment.
Strong's H8420. Tav. Tav.
All right, in the Paleo Hebrew, the Wah, all right? But back into Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, all right? The vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, man. And now it's not tarrying. We seeing what the Lord had foretold us prior, that it's not tarrying. Why? Because more than likely the elect is being sealed. All hell is getting ready to break loose, as we can see. All right. And again, we measuring the times diligently in itself. So the Lord said, man, though it tarried, though it took a while, though it took, from, the multiple wars, Cold War, him hiding himself from us, going through what, Jim Crow, the era of pro-black and the so-called black power and that confusion, Jake clinging on Africa, Jake um, choosing teachers and people to themselves, like the civil rights movement people, right? The Martin Luther Kings and the Jesse Jackasses and all these people that failed them, man. When you had what the setup was being, uh, you had Elijah, turning the heart to the father, back to the turning the heart to the fatherless, back to the father, man. Around those same times. So though it was tearing, wait for it, man. It was a buildup. It was gradually, you know, you know, nothing good comes quick. You know, it's gradually is gradually gonna come. The Lord does not stir nor move to the said measures be fulfilled. All right, but from there I want to go to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2, and I start at verse 13. Go, and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch, right? The kingdom is already prepared for you. Again, what's already established in the spiritual realm ultimately got to trickle down in the fleshly realm. It's lesser, you know. So again, the kingdom is already prepared for us, man. We have a big brother that's exalted on the right hand of the Heavenly Father, man, whose name is Yahushai, who the world enemy calls JC, who's a so-called black man. All right. So go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days, man. You want to pray for a few days. You know, you want to desire a new heaven and new earth which dwelleth righteousness, man. You know, the hopeful elect is going to desire that. You know, we're praying for a few days. We're hoping that things speed up concerning judgment. Verse 14, take heaven and earth as well as healing, man. As well as not only judgment, but as well as healing and salvation. Verse 14, take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created the good. For I live, saith the Lord, right? He lived, man. And he's going to break the wicked, man. All right? In a bruised reed shall he not break. You know, those of a contrite heart and a broken spirit is who the Lord is dealing with. But the pride and the wicked, those who abort in him and abort in meekness and the learning of him, he's getting ready to put judgment on and be done away with. He's going to break them, all right, into pieces, man. But from here, I want to go to Job 14. 14 in verse 1. It's Job 14 verse 1. Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble, right? You know, man that is born of a woman, man, a man that's born of what? This flesh, the fleshly man, you know, that's a few days and full of trouble, man. Again, like the elders say, we live to die and we die to live, you know. We die daily, man, as the Paul say, you know, in this flesh, because we know this is not true life, you know. So hey, ultimately we live in to die. You know, being born in this flesh, being in these chains of darkness, man. We seeking to be changed with a new body. Verse 2, he cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. Right. You know, flower, it can rose out, be beautiful, but eventually it's gonna die. You know, how much water and stuff you put in it, eventually is gonna die. A rose eventually is gonna die. You know, it's similar to the flesh, you know, unless you gotta get that them plastic flowers that'll last longer, you know, forever, supposedly, you know. But verse 2, he cometh forth like a flower and is cut down, he fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not, right? And that's what Esau's gonna do. He's gonna fly away like a dream, disappear like a dream. And doeth thou open thy eyes upon such an one and bringest me into judgment with thee? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, man. And that's what the Lord has ultimately, uh, he put a bounds upon this devil, all right, just like he did Satan, all right, when it came to Job, all right. He put a hedge around him to where he can't cross it, man. He has a boundary. He's limited. He's limited. You know, and more importantly, he's in the flesh, man. You know, what it's going to lead to what? The war in heaven, you know, thinking that, hey, that pride, you know, thinking that he can go and compete with the heavenly angels, man, with the spiritual realm, man, but he's going to get put to shame. You know, that's what Revelations 12 and 12 pertaining to, Revelations 12, all right, the war in heaven, all right, um, Michael fighting. Verse 7 is Revelation 12 and 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven, man. You know, they actually gonna attempt to try to prevent the Lord's coming. You know, they want to fight against the holy angels. They got something called the Space Force that's now part of the sixth branch of the military, man, by way of the Navy, all right, the Mayans, the waters, right? Mayans, the waters. um, and the Air Force. All right, so they're the Navy and the Air Force. All right, so they're getting ready. All right, this fleshly man, full of pride, thinks that he's gonna be able to compete with the spiritual. And this is Galatians 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And that's just the point. Strive unto truth unto death. Sirach 4:28, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Because the Lord foretold of this thing. So we have to put forth patience, like the brother Camp Blessing last night. All right, the brother Zariah Camp Blessing last night. We gotta put forth patience, and we gotta practice patience, man. Let patience have her perfect works, and put and endure to be able to reap. Be able to reap the blessings. All right. So don't be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap. And that season is fastly approaching, man. It's coming. We see it coming. This is another scripture to end off with, and I end off with the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding in this, rejoice not that the spirits are subjected unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. If you believe in his word, and if you putting forth these good works and teaching his word, continue in well doing, man, because you're getting ready to weep. All right. It's a crown laid up for you. All right. But again, the point in verse 18, behold, Satan fall like lightning, meaning what? Quick. All right, this downfall of this devil finna happen quick, man. So we just gotta endure and stomach this thing, even though it's gonna get worse before it get better. We just gotta stomach this thing, the Lord's test, and know that the Lord promised us that He's gonna bring us through it. It's Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my power and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, from Yahweh. And I will write upon him my new name. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches, man. So, Yahweh Tazah, this lesson was edifying. Satan falling like lightning, man. So we only have to endure, though it tarry, wait for it, man. And it's no longer tarrying, man. These things are coming to pass, all right? We just need to just watch it, man. Shalom Habatan, DTA.